Thanks for joining us for Avery's Act 3. Last time we talked about primer, color, and top coat, as well as our process for cleaning her beautiful rosy copper hardware. At this stage, there is more to worry about though. It's a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Any issues that pop up now cost time, but also potentially rework that would require going back into the spray booth. Avery was a little resistant to all this change, so we'll talk through what the challenges were and how we fixed them. Today, I'll share the final assembly and styling to shoot Avery for our website. And yes, as of this posting, she is available to purchase. After Avery's final spray, we wait a week for her to cure before she actually gets buffed. She's now looking glossy and gorgeous. I do a once-over to make sure that there aren't any areas that were missed during buffing or any other flaw that I'm concerned about. You can see here that that wobbly leg has been repaired and you can't even see the screw detail. You would never know. Now it's on to final assembly. We gather all the tools and pray for no issues here. Assembly can be way more complicated than you think. Starting with the doors, we need to reinstall the bullet catches that are on both the top and bottom. You may be wondering why I don't just replace the catches altogether. We found it's easier to keep the original pieces. It's like wearing in a new baseball glove. If the old one is already formed to the piece, that's usually your best bet. So in Act 1, you may remember that we talked about replacing the screw in the washer here.
Got some weird hardware solutions here. That's because the hardware was too long, so they built it up with this. So what I might do later is actually cut that down.
So we realized the maker intended for that wood washer to be there to give the screw and the hardware more meat to hold on to. This piece of wood on this door panel is really thin. So imagine if you're pulling on this all the time, it's gonna eventually crack. So that washer is actually intentional and we left it there. The original parts are always better. We are always prepared for door issues, even though we checked it all in our evaluation and prep, and we sanded down all the edges to accommodate the lacquer depth. There are things that don't present until assembly. Sometimes it's a slightly warped door or it's just being finicky. We do label everything during prep so every door and drawer goes back to its exact same spot. On Avery, the door is catching at the top here. So to remedy that, we loosen the screws at the bottom and see if we can just pull it farther out and screw it down again. It's a game of adjustments with both sets of hinges. The drawer hardware is pretty straightforward, but on Avery there are multiple pieces to her hardware, so we need to go slow and ensure that each piece is straight. You ideally only want to tighten her screws once. On this set of hardware, there are also tiny little copper nails that hold the backplate in position so it doesn't rotate or move. We are missing some of those on Avery, but we have replacements. And if they are too long, we just snap them to the correct depth and voila. Just a couple more final details we add to the drawers to make sure they function well. We add a little strip of silicone tape to the drawer slides where the weight of the drawer is. On this piece, it's the sides. This makes sure all drawers slide easily and also make less noise. Now, this isn't possible with metal drawer slides, but for wood on wood, this works great. Lastly, we add a little drawer stop that makes sure no one pulls the drawer out all the way. Everyone is acclimated to newer cabinets where there are ball-bearing drawer slides with stops. This is not the case with most vintage. So we add these little plastic pieces that are intended to stop the drawer. To get it out, you just have to push the little piece up and pull the drawer out all the way. It's a pretty ingenious solution if you ask me. So now that everything is on, we check to see if there is anything that stands out as an issue. With vintage, it won't be perfect, but we can get pretty damn close. So she looks good, but this door is not catching down here, and I have to decide how big of a deal is that. Now, I have this piece at home, and one of mine doesn't catch at the bottom either, and it's fine. It doesn't bother me. The thing that you have to think about also is this reveal. See there, I think it is catching a little bit. It's not as loud as the one up top. So maybe it's a matter of adjusting the hinges a little bit more to pull it down so the whole door comes down a little bit. The other thing on this piece to think about is that not all the hardware cleaned up equally. Some of it is a little bit more brown, some of it is more copper. Now, the prettiest ones we're gonna put at the top in the most visible places. But I think that's fine. I mean, it's a vintage piece of furniture. Everything's not gonna be perfect. We tried, but it's not gonna be perfect. So we'll work on this little door, and then I think she's good to go. Let's get Avery all dolled up for her big debut. So Avery is done and available for purchase over on CaseyGrayStudios.com. If you enjoyed this content or want to see something different, please leave a comment below. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe so you're notified when our next story is available. Thanks so much for watching Avery's glorious transformation from heirloom to rareloom.